Okay, in this video we're going to take a close look at this brand new Clarion model. This is out for 2012. This is the NX602. I think it's fair to assume that most of the functions and features that we're going to talk about on this model, the 602, are going to carry over into the 702, which hasn't been released yet as of now. So we'll see. The 702 should certainly be no disappointment because this one absolutely is none. This thing is a stunner. I mean, this thing is gorgeous. I've actually started to do a lot of reviews because I get a lot of people asking for them. They seem to be popular, and I try to do what y'all ask me to do, so I do them. So, the 602, it just came in yesterday. I probably would have got to it then, but I was a little too busy. But this right now is just a home screen. I mean, just take it in. I'm going to give you a quick close-up and hope it doesn't get too out of focus. Actually, I'll take a precaution and I'll do an autofocus real fast. I'll let you see real close. What she's doing. You can see there in the top left, that's the analog tuner look that they're going for, which I'm a big fan of. The GPS, I mean, look at that. It's got all those 3D landscapes, landmarks. Amazing GPS. Over here in the top right, the phone book for Bluetooth. Bottom right is your iPod. The bottom middle, that's your Sirius XM main screen or icon. Bottom left for your disc, nothing too crazy going on there. Back out. You know what? Before I do, let me show you something else. Right here, unlike most of the other manufacturers, they like to just leave this ugly hole. Clarion did a nice job. They made a little slidey door, and inside, it doesn't just have a regular SD card, but look at this next to it, micro SD. How crazy is that? Not just one, two. Just gonna reinstall that. This is a blank card. I think I put it in right. Maybe I'm not. Closes up. So nice. Ever so nice. However, even though they put the USB right there in, I'm sorry, the SD card slots in the front, they did the right thing. They put the USB auxiliary for the iPod or external sources in the rear where it belongs. And in the front they did do a 3.5mm jack, which, who uses that thing anyway, right? But it's there. Let me just cut this off of autofocus back out and start this review. Alright, so now we're back there. Okay. I mean, this thing is just like a little computer. This thing is like a computer on wheels, as far as I can tell. Unbelievable, man. It's very nice. It's very uncommon, very unlike a lot of Clarions. Maybe if you guys remember, they used to be slow to boot up. This does not do that. Everything is, they really greased the wheels, man. They took everything imaginable and just totally kicked it in the ass and threw it out the window. And they made a badass looking receiver here. I like this thing. I gotta tell you, I'm tempted to own one of these things. This thing is beautiful. I love it. I like the colors, I like the way it's laid out, I like the clean look, I like all the functionality, and I haven't even touched the damn thing yet, right? I like the knob, for this second in line to their flagship. The knob is by far the best looking and most functional one that I've experienced to date. Definitely better than everything else out there. Nothing even comes close to it. That's something that I find, even though it's such a small detail, to me, it matters, and it matters a lot. I like it. I like that they put the clock in on the screen. I like the way everything is very easy to navigate. A lack of buttons, but no lack of using anything, that's for sure. They have one button up there which says all on it, and it takes you to your home screen. That's going to take you back. Hit it again, it's going to take you to the sub menus. Then you have your USB, which is fed to the rear, like I told you. SD for the front. Bluetooth audio, which is, of course, wireless. Auxiliary 1 and 2. Pandora, which is done via Bluetooth. Amazing. Then you got your rear zone laid out right there. Not hard to figure it out. I mean, most people usually get lost setting up a second zone right there. iPod, which mine is plugged in. I mean, very nice. Everything just kind of scrolls. You can customize everything if you'd like to. So you see what it's going on here. It's taking all these shortcuts. You can take them and move them around and mix them around and, you know, do whatever the heck you want to do with them. You can move your USB, put it there. I mean, it's crazy what you can do with this thing. They thought of everything. I like this. It's very, very, very well laid out. The navigation we can actually use, because I did set up an antenna outside, so it shouldn't be a problem. So let's get going on that real quick. Hang on. All right, now picking up where I left off, I had to reboot it for the maps because this is the first time this thing's ever seen voltage in its life. So I had to power it down and power it back on for that very first time. I do have my iPod plugged in, so even though I'm on the GPS screen, you can see up here that the iPod is showing in a small window, so that way I can just real quick reference it from my GPS screen. You can, you know, hold things, toggle them down like you would on a tablet or a phone, right? So you might expect it. And also, this is something that you don't find on any of the other manufacturers. Not everybody likes to do this. You know, I'm not opposed to it. I could take it or leave it, but I also like the ability to do this. It's one of the main reasons why I really like JVC, because JVC has a mode where you can control it via iPod or from the receiver. This thing kind of gives you choices, and I like that. Choices are good. You can always use more of those. Very nice. Anybody, and look at, it's got a nice scrolling text. It's got 4 lines of text, which is even better. There's always a quick shortcut arrow on almost all the screens I've noticed, so you can even enhance and get more functionality out of this receiver. Gotta like that. Some of your options are laid out. This is for audio playbooks, which I don't do. Not for me. So we'll just go back. Search feature, you could do numerically, you could do alphabetically. Always gives you a little icon of the music playing in the background. You can always, it's a push of a button to get from here to there. I'm noticing a lot of this kind of thing on these newer receivers for this year. And I also like the fact that they leave the clock on the screen. That's a big thing. I wish people like Pioneer is big, and I mean, you know, how many resources a company like that has? They can't seem to get the clock thing right, you know? People need to know what the hell time it is, right? Your movie playback, I mean, just very nice. I really like this. Now, real quick, I'm just going to go back to the main screen. Touch on the telephone. I don't have a device paired, okay? Now, if I did, it would import automatically all my contacts, my recent calls that I've made out, calls that came in. You could also do, God, it ties into the GPS and in more than one way, which the GPS, I can tell you, I'm going to probably have to spend the most amount of time with this receiver, because the GPS and navigation on this system is extremely advanced. Like I was saying, this thing is less like a car stereo, more like a computer on wheels. It really is. But the telephone we're not going to mess with, because this technically isn't really my unit, and I shouldn't be messing with that too much. So we'll goof around with some other stuff like the radio tuner. There's all your presets, touch of a button. Really nice, big, laid out very well. All these colors are customizable, by the way. You could change all these aspects to match and flow with your interior very well. Now this unit here does not have the HD radio tuner, but I'm going to assume, I don't know for a fact yet, but I'm going to assume fairly that the model above it with the 7-inch screen, the 702, probably would have the HD tuner. But again, it's a guess, it's speculation, I don't know. And you got FM band 1, 2, and 3, so you got 18 presets for FM, 6 for AM, because who listens to AM? Nobody. Now on your main screen, we don't have Sirius or XM connected. we went through the iPod, some of the phone stuff. Let's touch on the GPS, because that's really where most of your money's going to with a unit like this. Now, I goofed around with this thing, and don't be mad at me if I miss some stuff. It happens sometimes. I do a review and I don't catch every single little detail, and then some psychopath wants to come along and say, well, you forgot about the split screen, the zoom, or the this or that. Listen, I can only do so much, so, you know, just be glad that I do these things, right? So, right now I'm on the map. It always gives you that little icon, tell you exactly where you're at. Zoom in, zoom out. This unit has a very unique feature where it goes a step beyond the standard Garmin that I'm accustomed to, or Google Maps, where it kind of automatically moves and rotates and it follows you around. It's very like, it's got a really nice like human aspect to it. You could scroll and manipulate the maps very easily. So what's easiest for your eye, I think, is very nice. You could change your maps. So if you want the overhead view, if you want the 3D view, the 2D view, you could change all your icons on there, which is really nice. I think it's just really nice. You have your main source up on the top, so you could do GPS simultaneously while you're doing your main zone, and you could also feed the rear zone. So you got 3 zones of activity going on in this unit. So that's a lot. This more button is where things start to get a little bit crazy with this unit. You can just do something like this if you're looking for something to do around yourself, places around yourself. I mean, look at that speed. Let's just try to make it work. We'll go there. Look at that. Took about, what, a half a second? There's all the information of the location, the name of the company, address, town, zip, everything. More information. Look at this stuff. So this could be very helpful if you're looking for a hotel. Telephone number gives you everything you'd want to know about it. Right there. Crazy. And I also got to say, I mean, not that we're going for a drive or anything today, but this thing has like a realistic road. When you're driving with this thing, it looks like you're really on the road. It's that intense. It's almost like virtual reality. It's like you're looking at the road, but it's not really there. It's really just on your little TV screen. And this does that, which is amazing. I think that is so cool. I really like this unit. I do. Your map settings, I don't even know where to even start. Quick play search, see if we want to find something to eat. Well, you know what? I don't want to go that route. Don't want to do that. Find. Restaurant around here. Look at the speed. And it's accurate. Starts from 0.03 all the way to the farthest away. I mean, I can't say that from a lot of other manufacturers. They start out with things that are 30 miles away from you, and you feel so frustrated you even hit the button. This thing is not like that at all. Very smooth, very fluent. Everything works very well. You can even filter your results. I mean, what? Crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. Accommodations, like I was saying, this could be pretty useful. Even a compass, it tells you exactly where you go. When you hit it, you could take your screen, take your finger, move it, push a place, like that. Snap of a finger, you're there. Let's just hit go. Let's watch this thing in action. Look at that. What was that, maybe 1.5 seconds? Here's all your economy meters. You can set up your vehicle, your default speeds. It learns everything about you. I mean, look at it. Look at it go. Amazing. I mean, the wealth of information. And while all these things are going on, you could be talking, BSing on the phone with the Bluetooth. Again, there would be an icon. Touch it, hang up, call, set up a party, do whatever the hell you want to do with this thing. It's just got everything. I like this thing. There's your history. You may or may not like that. Edit your routes. Where am I? We did. Map settings. There's your 3D mode, normal. Automatic overview, which is going to give you like that blown up kind of dealy. colors, you could turn it around, change it, see, make it the way you want it to be. Daytime map colors, you can actually change these. There's another choice. Another choice. I mean, who else even offers all these choices? Nobody. I mean, Clarion just... I mean, come on, man. Clarion really... They got it right this time. I like it. I mean, I just don't even... It just goes on and on. The features. 3D terrain. I mean, track logs, buildings. I mean, no one even has this stuff. Amazing. Place markers for favorite locations. I mean, man, for GPS, you can't... I don't think you could beat this one this time around. I really don't. I mean, it's always got more. I mean, I could just sit here all night and goof with this thing. And here we go, more and more. Look at this. That's telling me where I am, where sunset is, I mean, this is crazy. Look at here. Sunset, 7:29 in the morning, goes down. Unbelievable. Trip monitors. We don't have any saves data. Apparently this thing can work worldwide. Fuel consumption, I'm sure that's a very important thing for a lot of folks these days. You can program that and figure out what your actual expenditures are going to be for your gas. You even got a calculator in your radio. Watch this. 1 + 1. 11 + 2. Look at that. A calculator in your radio. Like I was telling you, it's a computer on wheels. Updates. Go to Clarion website, get the new stuff, throw it in the SD card, and away you go. Right there. Some of your settings. Change up all your settings. Your volume, voice language, make it who you want it to be, what sex they want them to be. More settings. I mean, very customizable, people. I mean, go Clarion, huh? User profiles. So you got 4 user profiles. We're not going to touch on that. This looks very reminiscent of how a Garmin would react. I mean, wow. Insane, huh? We touched on the GPS. The radio's really nothing to hoot about too much. Boy, I mean, it just goes on and on. I think what I'll do is I'll cut this video off because this is going to take too long. There's too much going on. And also I wanted to just real quick touch on some pretty important points of this radio. Stuff that you're not going to hear about from most folks, but things that I think are pretty important about it. I mean, you can see which direction I'm going in this review. It's going real good for Clarion. Now this thing has a 50x4 amp, which is of course not realistic. It's realistically, I'd say, about 22x4. The preamp output's a 4-volt 6-channel for front, rear, and sub. It's got an EQ with a low bass enhancer, low pass filter, high pass filters, so you can create and generate band pass filters. It's got the USB port in the rear, like I'm using to plug in my iPod, which I'll show you when I flip it around. Sub control. Auxiliary inputs. It's got 72-bit color keys, so you can change and customize all these displays, which I didn't really get too much into. It does facilitate inputs for a steering wheel control externally. It's got a 17:9 widescreen. It's got a TFT thin film transistor, if you don't know what that is. Active matrix display. AM/FM tuner we touched on. It plays DVDs, CD, MP3, AACs, window media files, all these kinds of things. The total harmonic distortion is 0.03. It's basically non-existent. The sound is amazing. Take it from me. This unit is really something to hoot about. So let's take a look at the back. Hang on. So now we're looking at the rear of the Clarion, the NX602. Just going to unplug some. This is the USB, which Clarion got it right because you could actually utilize your existing sync cable from your iPod, plug it right into here. No need to purchase anything separate. That's an industry first. Nobody's doing something like that. Everybody's nickel and diming you, selling you cables. Back here we got the dedicated rear view camera input, and of course the video in. This cable here, this cable is for the SXV100 V1, which is the new Sirius XM tuner. The years before, they used to use the CLA SC1 and the SCC1 to add satellite radio to it, and it was only Sirius ready. Now it's going to handle Sirius and XM since they merged, and it's only one piece, so it's half of the money you have to spend the year prior to get that service. And over here, we have the audio output, video output. This is the HD radio bus input. Right here, there's your 4-volt preamps for front, rear, and subwoofer preamp outputs. And the sub is stereo, which is very good. Big fan of that. And then here you have your SWC, which stands for steering wheel control. And what's very good about that is because when you grab all these wires, look at all this stuff. I don't know if you've done many installations, but a lot of times you don't even need half of this stuff. And at least Clarion was intelligent enough to make these plugs detachable. So that way if you don't need half of that stuff, you don't have to struggle trying to put this thing into the vehicle because the plugs are so easily detached. This plug here is for the GPS antenna. That's your aerial antenna, of course. 16 power and speaker harness. And the fan, I guess that's not proprietary to just the Kenwoods, which I just reviewed. This one, the sound and the noise that comes out of this fan, by the way, I'd have to say, in my opinion, not that I use a decibel meter or anything like that, but this was definitely quieter. So I can only assume that the brushes that they use in this fan are a little bit more superior to the ones they use in Kenwoods. Back here, pretty straightforward. It has a telephone mute, you know, the powers, the illumination, and all that kind of stuff. Very painless to do a DVD bypass or video in motion. They also give you a disc. I'm all for that, being more green. They also give you a basic starter guide, which is good. Be sure if you're going to buy one of these radios to take these two screws out on the top, because otherwise you say, how come my disc don't play? That's the reason why. They also give you 2 of these detachable trim rings for the faceplate, so if you're going to ISO mount it from the back and you don't need them, or if you do need it and you're going to surface mount it, you're going to need to get a separate sleeve, but you have these cosmetic rings, which is very nice. Like I said, if you're going to have to add iPod, just get a standard sync cable, just like I'm using right here. So all in all, I got nothing bad to say about this Clarion. I'd give this thing a 9.5 out of 10. Why not? You know what? What the hell? This will be the first time this year. I'm going to give you a 10. So run out, go get yourself a Clarion NX602. I give it my full and utmost allegiance. I think they've done a great job. Everything about it I think is wonderful. It's a beautiful unit. It's clean. It's a solid performer, and it's just outstanding. But just make sure if you're going to buy this that you have a few hours for people to leave you alone and learn how to use it, because this is one mean machine.